This is the If More Let's Divide podcast.
Charlie guys, what happened? Welcome to the If More Let's Divide podcast. Another week, another episode.
I like this energy, bro.
Yeah, and we are back again. We are coming to do it like we always do. Fred, what happened?
What's good, my G?
Charlie. This week we have another David. This guy, I've known him
For some time.
for some time. But I've known him for I think a decade.
Oh, okay.
I've known him for a decade plus. And Charlie, he's a G, filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
A creative.
Okay.
Always
Coming up with.
always has different ideas. In his head. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I know him for. And Charlie, he's on the pod today.
Absolutely fucking amazing.
Yeah, and we are going to dissect him and divide things. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome dope filmmaker David Nicol-Sey. David, what happened? It took you eons to get here because of traffic and other wahala.
Ajay.
Yeah. Ajay Kuti.
Ghana for you.
Yeah. How stressful is Ghana when it comes to work and also your personal life? Is it stressful?
It depends. I feel like it's seasonal, but the problem with Ghana you see, when an industry be extracurricular activity, right from the get-go. Yeah. So you have to overprove yourself every time to make people see the value, and it's been a challenge because you see every day they talk say you can't move alone. It has to be like a collective of people that they drive a market. But if it be just one person where it be in per day, once that person fall, the industry is just flawed. You get me? And it's almost obsolete. So the thing my stress has been trying to grow an industry with a lot of people, like a plethora of people in the different sectors of this industry. But yeah, so that's where we did right now.
With you, right? I don't really know how to start or where. So I don't really know where to start the conversation because we have so many pockets that we want to enter with you. Yeah. I know how vocal you are. I know how you have challenged the status quo. Yeah. Like you speak, no matter who, I've seen so many tweets about you where you are either in quotes, bashing someone or putting your plight or whatever across. Where did you get that in quotes vim from?
Oh, the vim. See, it's out of frustration. It's frustration to be honest, because you see, it's hard to try to progress. Yeah. Then your environment they retrogress. Yeah. It's so hard. Yeah. And I feel in this day and age, because of technology, we want to act Billy. Everybody act Billy. So sometimes it baffle me why we always they go back. Rather than progressing forward. Check we always retrogress. And then everybody else go to complain. Charlie, money no day. But then we're all not trying to help make the industry a viable one. So sometimes if you see me venting on social media, it's for the greater good, because I know they think about they think about the next gen, because they have more opportunities than we have, and then they would probably do better than us because they see the mistakes we will do. So sometimes if at the event, it's really to protect the future of what we do. Yeah. Else, if we no talk where everybody be like, oh, it be cool, then we all go fly Japan, then go hustle for Yankee. We'll go take 2 jobs. Then bro, we hustle finish, and then we just drink beer on the weekend. Yeah. But that's what they try to avoid. Because if we left Ghana, what will happen?
But you with what you do, you can easily move away from this country and go and stay somewhere and still do what you're doing.
Yeah, you thrive.
So why haven't you done that yet?
I be Ghanaian first and foremost.
Okay.
And I'm an African. So I believe in Africa. How do we progress Africa to make it attractive? Because let's look at America. You see, America was built on what we call soft power, where, America had to influence everybody. That is a superpower. It's the land of the dream. It's the land of milk and honey. So how do we adopt the same idea in Ghana? Because Africa is a whole, but then we can at least start. Ghana be subset of Africa. So we go start something from here, then it also go join others doing great elsewhere. Then we are growing an industry. So for me, I'm pro-African first, before the Japa.
Fred?
Yeah.
Pro-African.
Yeah.
I'm following the thought process. I'm inclined to wonder why you feel so connected to making sure that the future is better for the younger generation in the entertainment industry. I'm assuming that's what you're
basically. But
okay.
So for me, you see, this is my state of mind. We own 65% of the world resources. Europe owns no resource. The rest be shared between Southern America and Asia. So why we still suffer? Because at the end of the day, we have expats coming in and seeing opportunities and taking advantage of these opportunities. Right. How much more we would sit on the gold mine? I feel like the only thing religion worry we. Because, we're just blinded by the idea of miracles rather than putting in like the physical effort. You see? So some foreigner go come and go talk, say, Charlie, see, then get land for you. Make we start some water park. But we know they see them because we they pray to some idea, say rain go fall. And then we start to bash politicians. But I feel like, yes, civil servants, then we as the average people, we really know they help. Because we are blinded by, we being dependent on the political powers and religious powers. And that's it. You see, so I feel like the change that starts with we, the younger generation. Like I said, technology make we be wiser than before, And I feel like if we all know they try putting effort, and I mean, it not be just me, for be we all, it has to be an agenda, right? Where we come in as a collective to really grow Ghana, grow Africa, make it attractive such that now other people will come in and then we go start to raise capital. You see, and that's my idea. My idea be, what can we do with an environment where we have everything at our disposal? The only thing is we're not action oriented to see the potential of all these things. And that's my worry.
So what would you say to like a pacifist who feels like capitalism, the West, imperialism is all to the detriment of mankind anyway? Like all of these things that we're pursuing, they, from their point of view, they'll say Nicol-Sey, for lack of a better term, like it doesn't amount to anything because it's destroying the planet, commercialism, all of these things affect people negatively. So maybe the way that our ancestors used to live or lived is the better way. What would you say to somebody who thinks that way?
I don't believe that necessarily because I feel like the world is dynamic. And as the world progresses, so does the environment and culture, right? From languages to the way we dress, to the way we eat food, from spicing. There's always that progressive momentum, right? And there's growth. So for me, I feel like, yes, we might probably have these ideas, but I feel like, yes, what our ancestors did then was necessary for that period, not this period. Because I feel like we've progressed well enough to try to grow this environment. And the thing is, if you're looking at us being developed, we're not really developed, right? We're still behind the West, right?
Yeah,
we're still behind the West. Yeah. You have individuals who are progressive, but not the entire people. You get me? So I believe that it needs to start from somewhere. We might probably have the ideals of hey, let's protect the environment. Let's succumb to the ideals of our ancestors by protecting the environment, right? But I feel like yes, we're in a day and age where they've had their moment. We are in our moment, and we can actually make do with what we have now and take advantage of that.
Okay, quick follow up to that because I know I mean, I totally following what you're saying. Where do we try to mitigate the progress that you're looking for with the lack of structure, systems, policy in place where, because of quote unquote progress, then the West comes in, or the Chinese or whoever comes in. We're dealing with Galamsey now. It's in the name of progress, quote unquote. But because we don't have the structures in place and the policy in place and the strong leadership in place, it becomes even far worse and more detrimental to our people. And then it's being touted as progress. So how would you address that?
I don't think that's progress for the entire people. It's progress for individuals who want to benefit from that, because they're looking at it from a singular perspective. Because if you're looking at it being beneficial to the masses and the people, it needs to affect everybody, not just a group of people. You know, because I feel like, yes, when you look at the mining industry, if we had a policy and we had strategies in place where we could build subsidies for these people who live within these environments. Let me give a typical example. People of Takwa, they have so much land. They have so much mineral resources. Imagine we had a system where government could subsidize these people, where government will guide them through the right process, land reclamation, and then make sure that, okay, hey, in order for you to pay me back, you can pay me back in equity of the mineral resource. Then we start to grow the people. So now we look at the resource based on the communities. Okay, Takwa has gold. Maybe Nzema has coconut and rubber. Okay, how do we maximize the people there? How do we create jobs? How do we mechanize these systems, right, for it to benefit everybody on the long run? Do you get it? So the idea here, the problem here is we need to have leaders who are passionate about growing these industries, rather than us looking at it from a singular mindset where maybe me, I go take license, small scale license. I go just exhaust the land, then I japa. And then I go leave the land and then then I mess up the water bodies.
Right.
Yeah, but imagine we had a system where government can advise, the EPA can advise these individuals living there, right, and guide them through the right ways to mine these resources. It would have probably solved a lot.
It will. I don't disagree. I think I was more asking that. So sometimes when we want progress, the question that we're failing to ask or maybe address is that, yes, we want progress, but the systems don't exist for the progress to happen. So pushing for the progress then leads to progress finding a vacuum to exploit.
Basically.
Right? So how do we... Actually, I don't want to ask in that direction. How did you end up as a filmmaker? Because you seem so passionate about
mining, right?
Politics and mining and all that.
I think it affects everything, you know, because filming is just one industry, right?
Okay.
And then in order for the industry to thrive, we need to also look at other industries that can help resource our film industry. Because if you're looking at film, you need capital, really, you know, and then film is basically the optics for all these industries. Because when you look at the food industry, they need to advertise. They need optics. You know, they need music. You know, when you look at the mining industry, they still need optics. It's just like I remember this. There was a company. They made Diamonds Are Forever popular. Is it DBS or something?
DBS,
right? Yeah. So they had to create that optical illusion to make diamonds attractive, right? So it's the same thing. So I feel like, yes, in as much as we're just looking at the film industry as a whole, it affects every other thing.
But the way you spoke about the mining sector, for example, me sitting here, I think either you have filmed for them before or you are into mining in a way, or you know, because you spoke about it passionately, you were using the right lingua and such. Yeah.
So I happen to be in mining.
No.
Oh no. So yeah, so
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So it's my father's thing.
Because he was talking
he
like
was
someone who,
very.
Oh no, but mining is a really complex industry. Because if you're looking at mining the right way, you need to look at exploration, where you'd have to explore the land to make it a feasible and a bankable property. And it takes years. So people resort to Galamsey because small-scale mining you need less proof, and you need less scientific reports on these activities. So it'd be the reason why a lot of people, they venture into Galamsey, because once you apply for the license, you might probably get maybe approval from the EPA, you start mining, right?
So wait, Galamsey too, you need a license?
Yeah, so Galamsey... Okay,
I thought you can just
find a land and dig. Small-scale mining. Yeah, so you see, Galamsey just be the unauthorized version of small-scale mining.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be all. Because, in Ghana, the law, they protect small-scale mining for the indigenous Ghanaians.
But that's false, though.
Yeah, but we don't have the capital to mine the resource.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the problem, because the person that own the cocoa farm, where they go raise capital, come explore the mine.
Because a few days ago, or a couple of, some miners were trapped, underground, and apparently...
In Ghana?
Yeah, apparently they, whoever, like they broke into a mine or something.
Then they encroach.
Yeah, and once they all entered, about 8 to 9 people, they entered. Someone from up there locked the door, and they were trapped for some time. And now the people in the community are on the road, demonstrating.
So they died?
No.
See,
the person shouldn't have locked their mine.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I think it is. Anglo Gold or something.
That's
BBC.
Yeah.
It was on BBC.
See, the problem here is people are struggling. We already struggle, right?
Yeah.
And then you see, in as much as we want to do things the right way, Charlie, somebody they search you.
Yeah.
And rather than going to rob, they've seen an opportunity. And to them, because they're indigenous people who grew up there, they don't say, okay, it's my birthright.
Yeah.
It'd be my land. So it'd be the perspectives. So that's what I'm saying. If governments could have seen it from that lens, government could subsidize, and then it could educate them on the right ways to mine. Because at the end of the day, they still need investors. They still need resource. So if you're a government and you have resource at your disposal, why don't you empower your own people? Because at the end of the day, the foreigners who are coming in, the Chinese, the American, the British, they are coming in to explore the same thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and you're going to still give them license.
Yeah.
So why don't you empower your own people and try to build a system or try to create a package that can subsidize these people and they can mine for storage for the government?
What is hindering this though? Because they've been mining for decades. Plus.
One ancestors take loans from our brochi.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. So because we owe so much money to the people who explored and developed all these properties. Yeah, so we took monies and then they would have to absorb them.
Yeah, I mean, and the new IMF deal? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They put like a stop to a bauxite mining thing that we had because the IMF demanded
it becomes collateral.
Yeah, it was collateral for the money that we've taken.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had a deal to do with some other company. IMF swallowed that deal out of existence. So now the IMF has put a hold
policies
on our
and sanctions.
Yeah. Crazy.
You have to
so
blame our
if
ancestors.
we can't pay the money, then
they start
until they recoup their money. Yeah.
And that can go on for
as long as
a long time.
They're busy. They probably die and leave the debt behind.
Yeah. But their kids will suffer. So
then get American passport and British passport.
You believe in karma?
Me, nah.
Yeah, that's. I don't think their kids are gonna pay. Their kids are gonna live a better life.
Basically,
true.
But this is a good segue for him to go on.
Yeah. So You made mention of like how our forefathers have sold the land and all that. I was from talks with you and also from things that I read. It looks like you are related to Jacob Wilson-Sey. Jacob Wilson-Sey, for those who don't know, was Ghana's or Ghana's first indigenous multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure, Ghana. That's a fact.
Sure. Yeah. For sure,
as far as Africa, we don't know, but he's one of the first.
But one thing about him, about the story, is how he made the money. You know, I don't know if someone isn't telling the right story. He went out to tap palm wine or something at night. Then he passed out or something, and something woke him up, and he found gold around him.
That's not the story I know, but what you want me to?
Unfortunately for me, I don't really know about my ancestry
Your
till
own-
recently.
Oh.
It was just till recently.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's my great great granddad.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my father's great granddad. So that's like my great 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 granddad.
Yeah. No, cancel. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I read originally, I'm a big fan of his, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, because
From Anomabo.
he is also one of the architects of Ghana's independence. Like he
Yeah,
started working, you know.
I would dare say that what Jacob Wilson did was probably, to me, way more important than even the winning of independence.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, because he negotiated the land bill,
land
where
bill,
basically the British monarchy was trying to own our land and things. And so we are free today, and we're different from the Francophone countries because of what he did. And that was the precedent for all of the African nations to follow. Nigeria and all those people, they had to follow Jacob Wilson-Sey's blueprint. So shout out to Jacob Wilson-Sey, by the way.
Shout out.
So maybe one of your cousins,
See, the funny thing is, you see, I grew up with my mom, right?
Okay.
So I grew up in my grandmother's house. So I wasn't really close with my dad's family at the time, because my dad's family, they all lived in the UK.
Okay.
So my father was the only rebellious one who came to live here, right? Because he was chasing after the whole African dream thing. So I actually got to know about this. That was, I think, like less than 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was never a conversation starter. You know?
I see.
Yes, because the thing is, you know, for so long, my father's family, they've been in the UK for so long that they have not had any relationship here for so long. Apart
I think
from
that's
my dad.
what I know. She may be a family member of yours too, because she's also related to Jacob Wilson. And she said pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, they've been in the UK.
Like they know. I was raving about Jacob, and she's looking at me like, bro, like, what's up?
So that means Jacob shipped all his children away.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, ECC Ghana no they go anywhere.
Most of them at the time.
Even then, he saw.
But he's a visionary, multimillionaire.
Yeah,
You see the
most
features,
of
you know.
them, yeah.
And apparently his wealth was about 300 billion pounds in today's, you know.
Yeah, I know what I read about him. I didn't read this story about him waking up and finding the gold. What I know is that they said he was into carpentry and he was into textile making.
And at a point, coffee
Because
was
his
selling.
father, his father at the time used to be a carpenter.
Yeah.
So wait, if this isn't the story, how did he make his money?
We'd have to find out from
Yeah, I read it somewhere.
But you know the gold thing. Apparently, like folklore, Ghana's culture is like that. They'll never tell you
The true,
because I don't know if it's a way for us to protect or to keep the person like a mystique.
Yeah.
But yeah, my granddad, when I was growing up, the kind of stories they told me about him, you know, when I grew up to actually know that he had factories and things, was completely different. They tell me, probably the name Kojo Sadi was packing this and was doing this and doing that. But when I got old enough to research, I realized all that story was BS. So I'm sure there's a
the
real
integrity. Yeah.
Because if he was the first on record, that means somebody actually did the research to ascertain his assets, everything that made him wealthy, and is definitely not waking up in the farm finding gold.
Yeah. So
next
what
day.
then? What made him? Because
He was probably into some type of export. That's what I'm
think so.
suspecting. He was exporting a lot to the UK or something that was vital and they needed. He probably was into mining. Maybe that's why your dad is even into mining. He was probably like
Genetically,
you know,
it's been passed down.
So David, what do you know about your great?
So on my father's part, I know my Mr. Nicol-Sey's granddad, his great granddad is Sarah Wilson-Sey, and then on my father's mother's part, I know she's the great granddaughter of Beru Bonsu, the second.
Yes.
So I am a hunter on my father's side, and on my mother's side, I am Ga, because my mom is Ga from Tema. Yes.
Okay.
So my father is currently the senior divisional chief for the Western region. Yeah, so that's how come I knew about my ancestry on both sides. So it's something I have to deal with, and it's something I am learning about because
it's pretty cool. You were gonna say Kwabuni, which is
that's Kwabuni. Sarah Wilson say yes. Yes, so he's Kwabuni Nana. And then Beru Bonsu, unfortunately, was killed by the Dutch in the 1800s, and he was decapitated. And then his head was taken.
Story when you said that, but I've read that story.
So he rebelled against the Dutch in the 1800s because at the time the Dutch had a treaty with Ghana at the time, called the Treaty of Boutre. And then that was in the 1600s somewhere. And then in the 1800s, he formed a revolution. And then he was, so I think he was the first Ghanaian to actually use tactical warfare against the Europeans. And that's the more reason why they had to decapitate him to go ascertain how this primitive man was able to, come up with tactical warfare against a much more civilized people
or sophisticated army, if you want to put it that way. That's interesting. So you've known that one for a longer period.
So that was just when they were ordaining my dad as a senior divisional chief.
How long ago was it?
Oh, that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh, so you've even known about say Wilson Say
I think earlier,
longer than Vedi?
Yes. Because at the time, none of my family, my father's side, they all didn't want to be part of this whole royal thing because they felt it was primitive and it was outdated. And like I said, they all lived in the UK.
Okay.
They were domiciled in the UK. The only domiciled person here was my dad.
So now, hearing all of these stories, how do you feel? Do you feel some form of weight on you? You have to prove something.
Not necessarily.
You have to be rich, like
or not necessarily.
Say, or you have to be brave and strong, like.
I'll probably take the brave and strong.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because
in this modern age
because
and
being
times,
rich,
it seems like that fire is already burning. The way they blast.
Because I feel like being brave and strong is necessary for any human being to thrive. Any being to thrive. Money can always be made, and money is dynamic. At some point, cowries was a form of exchange, right? And currency. Then now, in this day and age, you have cryptocurrency. Do you guys? I feel like, yes, the concept of money is relative to everyone, right? I don't believe in the idea of money. I believe in I believe in creating opportunities where these opportunities can develop into.
But don't you need money to create those opportunities?
Not everything needs money.
Really?
Not everything.
In this modern age and times, Charlie?
It depends. Like I said, it's perspectives. Because I feel like the most important thing you could have as a human being would be getting the right idea. Because I don't think Bill Gates had money before starting Microsoft.
His parents did though.
Yeah, but he needed the idea to be able to justify the investment.
True.
Yeah, because if you
I don't disagree entirely with you. I think it's vital for both. But a lot of times, a peeve of mine is, especially here, in our side of the world, when somebody is successful, it's like us trying to discover what your actual great-great-grandfather did. And we are finding stories about waking up in the forest and discovering gold. And I've seen so many successful entrepreneurs, when they make it and they're interviewed, they go like, it's all good. I don't know, Charlie. And then one day, somebody said you were selling 2 chickens, and then the 2 chickens, you know what I mean? So then, truly, what that does to the younger generation, because you touched on something about young people trying to fight for their future and but people believing in miracles and things happening by magic. Because all of the successful people that they're watching are saying it's magic. They're telling you, I don't know, it was all God. Meanwhile, this guy maybe wakes up at a certain particular time, is good at negotiating, is savvy, or is using the network that he was born into to make sure that certain things are secured and is a shrewd businessman. We don't talk about that enough. So maybe it's good to have the idea as well, but we need to talk about the intricacies of success more. Like, yes, you do need money. Yes, you need to be smart about money. You need to be strategic about this. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's...
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I agree 100%. Because, yes, once you have the idea, obviously you need the other elements to bring together to be able to bring this to fruition. So I believe in that.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. Dope. Yeah. So let's move on to your creative work. I've worked with you on a couple of projects. You have done so many amazing videos.
Team effort.
Yeah. Out of all of those videos, do you have a favorite?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
But which one would you say you enjoyed working on?
You see, the thing about being creative is you have very different experiences on every project. So I can pinpoint and be like, okay, hey, this was my best project, because like I said, it's something we did as a collective, you know. So we have very unique experiences, you know, with every project. So I can really tell and pinpoint one project being the best, or one project being okay,
or maybe
having my best experience.
Which project do you feel like all of this elements
you look out for?
I'm yet to do that.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. You're yet to have a
Yeah.
shoot where you're like everything that
Basically.
you need to be in sync.
Basically.
Was in sync.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to more.
Okay.
You know, and it's a growing process.
Okay. So if you hear a song or a client comes to you with a song, no idea, he has no idea, he just has in his hand the audio file and comes to you for a video, right? What do you look out for in the song first to write a script for the video? Is it a sentence, a word, or the feeling?
So for music videos, there's always a conflict, right? There's a conflict of whoever wrote the song and then how I imagine the song, right? So you have to come to some sort of understanding with the artist and try to build something together. Some people coming in, they're green. They're like, okay, hey, I believe in you and I want to give you this. Come up with something.
Yeah.
fire.
So when you have someone like that, how do you create the concept? Like, is it a line in the song, or
I need to like the song.
Okay. First.
If I don't like it, I can't work with it, because the thing is, in order for the music to really boost my intuition into creating something, I need to really fall in love with it. I need to be obsessed about it, where if I'm sleeping, I'm getting all these like illustrations in my mind, right? And then I can create something. But if I don't like the music and the music is not moving me, I can't tell a story. You know, so
have you turned down music videos with big budgets because you didn't because the song didn't, you know?
So many times. In 4 years, I've only shot 4 music videos. Three for Amare, and then 1 for Black Sharif. Yes, that's it.
But why have you turned down so many videos?
You see, the thing is, for me as an individual and my team, we're looking at growth. So we want to take on projects that will challenge us to grow, not because we want to make money. Money is essential, but I feel like if you chase money, you never make money, because you're not building quality. You get it?
Yeah.
And you know, for creativity, you can't be too commercial about certain things. You know. So for me, we developed other ways in generating income. Yeah. You know, from 3D animation, and then also creative directing a lot of TV projects. Yeah. So for me, with music videos, it's really dear to my heart, because I really want to challenge myself visually, because I don't want to create something that is just subpar and it's just the cliche you would see. I want to create something that would live, you know, something that would grow on people, something that would also be an example to someone else, without saying, okay, hey, I've seen this inspiration somewhere. I want every project I direct to be unique in its own way. Yeah. In as much as we're drawing inspirations from other things we like, it has to be unique.
Yeah. I actually forgot about your 3D parts. You know, you have shouts to
John.
Shouts to John.
Yes,
you know,
that's my business partner.
CGI 3D. You know, Guru Don. We will come to that. One music video that I adore was Ayat's
Gouda.
video.
Yes, Gouda.
Yeah, Gouda.
Yes.
How was that like? Like, was it capital intensive?
Let me tell you the story of Gouda. So,
shouts to Ayat.
Kiran here, Ayat.
Yeah.
So, somewhere 2018, I got robbed of everything at home.
Shoot.
Yeah, there was an invasion at my house.
Your equipment and
everything. I was down to square one.
How?
Yeah, so I was asleep, and then a friend of mine at the time was living with me. He came to call me, and then when we went into the living room, everything was gone. And at the time,
what?
Yeah, at the time I was working at the living room, and then everything. I'd done some jobs for Tania. I'd done some jobs for MT, and everything went. And then they took everything. The only thing they couldn't pick up from my house was, I think, the chairs. But they even had time to eat jollof. They had time to eat jollof. Yes, and they cut
not
the
prepared
wall.
table before me.
Yeah, they cut the wall, and then entered. But the thing was, so I was at least
the wall.
Yeah, they cut the wall. They cut it. Yeah, there was.
There was
a
square. Concrete wall.
Yeah, there was a square. Yeah, they took it out.
And you didn't hear anything?
Nothing. I was.
They spray.
Yeah,
They spray some chemical.
Yeah, I was not bad. I die. And then so I think I tweeted it where I had Halami say, yo, bro, what they go on? And then I told him about it. And then at the time he was in the States, we sent me, was it like $1,000? So he sent it through, So I think he took my name from K-So because Ayat was really close to K-So. Yeah, and then he took my name.
Shouts to K-So.
Yeah. So Ayat called me and he was like, oh, bro, I sent you something. Oh, I be your name be David Nicol-Sey. I said, oh, what's up? Shall I send you some Western Union? Go take them.
Oh.
Do you get it? And I was really...
did you know Ayat?
No, I'd seen them a couple of times with K-So, but we're not friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was really, really grateful. And I think 3 months later, he came back to Ghana. So something happened on Twitter. And then it was like, he wanted to shoot a video in the north. And I'm like, yo, bro, make we go. Yeah, so we...
Did you feel, I mean, like, did you want to pay him back?
No. No, not necessarily. But, it's love. If your brother has been able to...
you felt,
No. Gouda was done out of love. Let me tell you the story. I drove to the north myself. Back and forth to the north myself, right? And then we had help from Soribia, who is the son of the Bolga Naba, who was a friend we just met.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah. So he brought all these other people. He gave us a horse. So it was a product of love, right? And then a friend of mine at the time called Patrick also came in. So it was love.
Patrick, the guy who has
Patrick.
Nice.
So it was a collective of people who did something out of love.
Wow.
Yeah. So myself, John, Twisted Wave, Ayat, the whole of Bolga, Showboy. So we had people who just out of love, they just rendered their services.
And it shows in the video, and that's something that I believe in. That
what's the name of the video? I need to check it.
Gouda.
Yeah.
We all need money. We all have to make money, but at a point in time, we have to work on a common, video or painting.
It's priceless.
Or just because we want to do it, just because there is the love, just because someone is in need, and we have to help them. During this podcast, Fred, I was telling you, how like anytime I wanted someone to do something, they charged. You were busy with your real estate thing, and I was dealing with these guys, and it's crazy. People that I have given free stuff to before, free cameras and all that. And I'm going to them, oh, can you do this for me? For example, maybe color grade this thing for me. And they charge. I'm like, Charlie,
just surviving.
I'm not being funded by anyone,
And the thing is not generating income.
So Charlie, I feel that, and anytime that we create something out of love, you can see. Gouda is exceptional.
Yeah, so Gouda was made out of love.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we all have to experience some of these things where, somebody, they see you like, okay, yo, this be how I go cash out. Without thinking about the longevity. And with Gouda,
every day they wear new t-shirts.
so the optics. So with Gouda was the video that got Berna to hit me up. Berna Boy.
Oh.
And Ronami, you get me? So and like some of these things are priceless. It's like advertising. I can't pay for it. Yeah. So it was a product of love. And then was done out of love.
How many Nigerian artists have you shot for, and how many Ghanaian artists have you shot for?
Nigeria is a very complicated issue because you see, Nigerians are building an industry. That's viable for the Nigerians, right? So they are building the personalities. They are building the industries and the sectors. So when you're looking me looking at Nigeria now, I see Nigeria as the new Africa, the new African mentality, because I feel like Nigerians are actually mimicking a lot from the United States. Like I said, soft power. Yeah. So you have Nigerians coming up with initiatives like Afro Nation, Nigerian Idol, Nigerian X Factor. You have Nigerian artists now breaking entry barriers globally, And I feel like it's an agenda. It's an agenda, and they've seen how feasible and bankable the industry is. So us as directors, it's hard for us to infiltrate a place like Nigeria because they're building their own technical people. They're building the right personnels. They're building the right influencers. They're building the right arsenal of global artists. So I feel like Nigeria now, it's a conscious effort to make sure Nigeria thrives. But unlike Ghana, we're not looking at the industry as a whole. We're looking at the industry as an individual benefiting and shitting on everybody else. But Nigeria, I feel like it's an agenda to really take over the global market and then own the African music space. Yes.
I've seen you go at the industry so many times, on your Twitter, which is very, very active. What is that one thing, like, with the industry, if there is an industry, that really gets on your nerves?
Lack of education.
Wow. Can you break it down?
I feel like, we all came from the hobbyist perspective. I'm not a trained filmmaker, right? I happen to have been passionate about film, and then I got into filming. Yeah. And then within that, I got people like T. Talal Sangari.
Hey, shout.
Yes. And then JP to mentor me.
JP.
Yes. Right? And then, given that I was in the advertising industry, I started learning on the job, right? Most people in the industry are just like me, but are not looking to grow and are not looking to study and to advance themselves, right? So you have a bunch of shallow people in the industry leading the industry without the growth aspect. So that's the problem, because the thing is, let's take the music industry as a subject, right? If you don't understand the legal parameters of music, you would not know how to quantify your music. Because assuming you have a record deal and you don't know the value of your product, how then do you quantify it? You're going to go for any offer because you don't understand the value of your product. Yeah. So I feel like most importantly, we need education in all fields, whether music, whether film, whether photography, whether acting, or stage performance, theater. I feel like we need a lot of education. Legally, we need to understand the terrain. We need to understand intellectual property law. You get it. We need to know what an orange economy is. What's the value of a creative economy? For the people. And I feel like we need all these things. I feel like we lack education, and because we lack education, it's a freestyle industry, and it's just driven by ego and the God complex.
I mean, your point goes to a question that, and it's from a layperson's perspective, because I'm not an industry person or know much about music industry or film or whatever. I'm just observing as a civilian. And one of the things that blows my mind that you just touched on is not knowing the value of the product that they're creating, because to this day, I don't understand how artists are running around making music. It get played on the radio and they don't get royalties and they think it's okay. I just don't understand it. And I think what I'm getting from what you're saying is truly the lack of education, because if you know the value of what you're creating, there's no way you're going to let radio stations and all these places get away with playing the music for free and feeling like they are rather doing you a favor, because without the music, literally, radio is dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so
I agree.
But does that require any kind of sophisticated education, or is just is it cultural? Is it education?
I think it can be both. You know,
Okay.
it has to be a blend of both, right? The
Okay.
culture and the education, because once you have the education, you understand the relevance of the culture. Yeah, because what's the essence of a culture if you don't understand the value of the culture in itself?
True.
Do you get it?
True.
You know,
Because going back to what you're saying about the Nigerian industry making a concerted effort to mirror what they've witnessed in the West, is I feel as though, I mean, just like a lot of Ghanaians left and lived in the West, Nigerians did that too.
yeah.
Somebody like Nas, he's Nigerian. His dad is full Nigerian. There's so many other artists that have Nigerian roots. Now it's okay to claim Africa because it's the forward thinking
Ty
thing.
Dix and
Yeah, but I think the difference that I'm noticing is that the Nigerian people who were involved in any way, shape, or form in the entertainment industry there they are using the technical aspect. I was in fashion for a little while. So I went to visit Nigeria and I went to some of their designers, their shops. Like, bro, when you go to their brands and you go into their shops, it felt the same way like we were joking in Ghana. Because I went to a couple of brands and they've branded their jeans, they've branded their shirts. Everything is done according to, quote unquote, a standard. And I think that's maybe what we're lacking here, that there's no standard. It's almost like there are no requirements for you to meet, and therefore you can just wake up and do whatever.
Because there's
you
no
like.
healthy competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no healthy competition. Because let's look at music, right? You know, we don't have more than 20 professional artists, musicians in Ghana.
True.
In Nigeria, you have 1 million plus.
Wow.
No, but that's also because of their size.
Not necessarily, because I feel like Jamaica is so small, but they were able to break the American entry barriers.
Yeah.
And I feel like it comes down to the perspectives again. You know, because I feel like, yes.
When you say professional music, can you expand on that for a little bit?
No, so musicians who are registered as musicians, as a career, you don't have more than 20 major artists in Ghana who are known anywhere. Technically, we only have less than 10. Yeah. That I can say are crossover artists. That maybe when you go to the UK, some random person can be like, oh, okay, I might probably heard a song somewhere. And there's a problem.
Do you think Afrobeats is more accessible to the world because of the language? Well, actually, I should.
There's melody.
There's
melody.
Because some of it is very indigenous.
There's melody. It's
Okay.
always been that. It's always been that melody. That's it.
So what are we missing? Why are we not blowing
Action.
up like the?
We're not action oriented.
Okay.
First and foremost, we're not punctual. We don't plan ahead of time. We don't look at longevity. It's just instant gratification now, and that's it. You see, like I said, the Nigerians are looking at it as a business now. So how do we make this business thrive? Let's be innovative. Let's be fast forwarders where fast followers where we can adapt to new things and new changes. Ghanaians don't see it like that because we don't have many people with that experience. Again, you have diasporans, Nigerian diasporans coming back to Nigeria with the knowledge they've adapted there, right? And Ghana, most Ghanaians, even in the UK and even in the States, don't even want to be Ghanaians. You meet a Ghanaian in the States and they're, oh, look, I'm American. That's it. But when you meet a Nigerian, oh my Nigeria, waiting up. You get me? So they take pride in themselves. So they see the essence of growing an industry. right now, let's look at even the streaming platforms. Now, streaming revenue now is shared based on market share, not you being an individual artist with many following or a billion streams. It's based on market share. So now Nigerians are building market share within the Afrobeat space. And the thing is, let's look at America again. Now, when you're looking at the black population in America, I don't know, you'd have to check the facts. It's like 12.5 to 13.1%.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
71% is white America.
Yeah.
And then the rest is Hispanic and Asian. Yeah. So how do we thrive as Africans in such a market? It would be so difficult because already hip-hop is already struggling. The only place I feel like Africa thrives, African music is thriving now, would be Europe. And even specifically because of the UK, because now we're now blending in with the Jamaican dancehall industry. So it's becoming seamless now. You get to, and now Nigerians are taking advantage of dancehall as the new Afrobeats, because now Caribbean people are now jumping on our stuff. Latin America is now jumping on this whole reggaeton, Afrobeat percussions. So the thing is, they've seen the value. Latino music, they've seen the value. See artists like Ozuna, Maluma, see Tagana, Rosalia. See what's his name? The Bad Bunny. Yeah. See how these guys are breaking records in America because they're taking advantage of the Latino market.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, once you speak Spanish, Portuguese is like a sister language. Romanian is like a sister language. So at least they can, to some extent, understand that. And it's almost close to the Dutch and the Deutsch. Yeah, so it's a bigger market. So Latinos who are looking at music from, okay, how do we dominate globally? Let's not look at America because America has so much entry barriers. Okay, let's dominate Europe and Asia.
Don't you feel like Afrobeat is dominating though?
Yes, but we need more people. You see, we need to be grateful to artists like the Burna Boys, the Wizkids, the Davidos, the Olamides. I feel like these guys are really pushing they're pushing the fight, you know. And bear in mind, it's not just them. You know, it's a collective of Nigerians making a conscious effort to make the industry a bankable one. And that's the thing. We haven't seen the value from a bankable perspective. So we're just in it. Oh, Charlie, me blow. I guess on one car. I guess on Vixen, I finish. But Nigerians are looking at it. Okay, how come my son inherits this now? Okay, how do I build catalog so my son can live off this? You know.
So you can look at what Justin Timberlake did.
Yeah.
He sold his catalog for $100 and something million like this.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's bought catalog, sold catalog. So.
Mr. Easy has done the same with Empower.
Yeah, actually, that was dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy is no joke.
And this is an African, right? Yeah. And I'm like I told you, like right from the inception, we have to be the taste makers and we have to be the change makers. Yeah. And Mr. Easy is a perfect example. Yeah. Burna's a perfect example of breaking the American entry barrier. And now Burna Boy is played everywhere in America now. It was rare to find.
That's actually amazing. That and for me, every time I scroll through social media and I'm seeing like all these car companies or corporations using Afrobeat as the audio, like the soundtrack. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like you would have never thought about this even just 3-4 years ago. Like I've seen Aston Martin, I've seen Mercedes, I've seen a couple of other brands using Afrobeat. And it's not like they just use the beat. The singing, everything they happen. So it's
feel good music. Yeah. And then you have to look at a platform like TikTok creating that paradigm shift. 2020. So now it's accessible to everybody. Do you get it? And like I said, Nigerians saw the value and are building towards the value. Do you get? But the thing is, like I said, they've had the experience. They've seen it. They've seen the light. We haven't. So from our perspective, we're just looking at it. How do I make money right now and move? Nigerians are looking at it from, okay, I want to build a catalog for my family, generational wealth. And that's what's happening. And then, but I believe in the newer generation of Ghanaian artists.
Younger ones.
Yeah, the younger ones. We have Amare. Amare, I think, is the only African with a single on Billboard, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Sad girls love money.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
No, female.
Okay, yeah. Tiwa.
No, Tiwa is a different thing. But I'm saying, like, with regards to the newer artists.
Okay. With the new crop of
Amare has been able to prove that. You have Black Sharif, who has also been able to prove that. Jackie, and I feel like they are not getting supported by their own people, because Amma is technically one of the biggest artists in Africa and globally. Now she's a global artist now, but there's no home support. That's what I feel. Same thing with Black Sharif. He's done so.
Oh, Black Sharif has.
Yes, but see,
has home support.
Not necessarily. I feel like they thrive.
Really?
No, they thrive on the negative news, because Black Sharif recently had a show in the States, his own show, right? And then the only articles you could see online were articles about the
goats thing.
Yeah, the Baphomet. It didn't make any sense.
What's the Baphomet?
Yeah, it's.
Like Illuminati.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, that shouldn't be the
focus.
That shouldn't be the focus. You know, he's done his first show and it was successful. He's on. He was recently on the same stage as Benna at the Afro Nation. He just did a show with Pharrell.
Yeah.
And there's nobody saying anything. This guy was on Wireless in Dubai, and there's nothing. Same as Jackie. There's nothing. You know, it's like we're not pushing the agenda. We're not making a conscious effort to also support our own people.
What do you think is the fault? Why are we not supporting our own people? Because it's a thing here.
God complex and inferiority complex. So there's a superiority complex and an inferiority complex and a God complex. That's the Ghana thing. Oh, Charlie, you're my small boy. Oh, now this guy, I'm not part of his success story. So since I am the one leading an industry, let me put him down. And you see, the thing is,
So you mean there are people at the top who intentionally...
They're not even there. You know, there are a bunch of people just living on living on salaries and going to sleep and waking up to report to their bosses. Because they don't own the radio stations. They don't own the TV stations. So how
they're the gatekeepers and opinion makers.
Do you get how? Think about it. And the thing is, if you understand the business, you'd realize that everything is necessary. Because they don't understand the business, that's why they're trying to cut people's legs. Because they don't understand the business.
So let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll help us understand why our people are like that. Mm-hmm. Because my observation of Ghana culturally is the way that you have respect or value in our society seems to be that you have to be recognized as maybe the source of something, that connects to something, or in charge of something. Whether you're performing well or not is irrelevant. If you are the guy that everybody has to see, then you're in. So everybody's going to come to you, Charlie bro, link me up. Or you're the person that gets to say yes or no to something. And when you look at our culture, it's like when somebody even passes away, whether they're impactful with their life's work, people go straight to what did they leave behind? Ejapade, property. So it's like the entire culture is so short-sighted in what it requires of us that everybody's in that rat race to try and be somebody. As in, like when they say, you just said something. This guy be me, I put him on.
Yeah. That Ghana
so you be nobody.
Ghana vibes.
Because the fear is that you're going to supplant, like somebody like Mutombo right now. I always tell him I lean on him when it comes to this, because I have no interest in anything besides being on the show with him and having a conversation. But he has the industry pedigree, he has the relationships, yada yada. So for instance, if I come here and I'm doing this purely out of love, Mutombo is not like that, I vouch for that. But I'm saying that for some reason, if they start to sense that, oh, this guy is getting a little bit of attention, then a person in Mutombo's shoes will suddenly start like some kind of drama with you or try to downplay you or pull you down, because the only respect that society is given to him collectively is going to be, he's the gatekeeper. But now if I can't make bigger, quote unquote, and people start coming to him, then it's going to cut off his bread or his access to certain things to a certain point. So that's, I think, how they gatekeep and try to protect their territory and their position, because we are shallow-minded to the point where, like, you know...
And the question is, are you trying to build a conglomerate? Are you trying to build like a chain of businesses, or you're trying to build just one business that will fail with you? And
that's the big thing.
And that's the thing. So that's the problem with Ghana. I feel like people are not looking at being the mechanics. They're looking at just being the consumers, but not building the mechanics. So I think where we lack the most is, how do we build mechanics? And another problem, we can't tell the difference, right, between what confidence is versus arrogance. You see,
that we don't know.
Yeah, so it's a big problem. So once maybe Motombo is like, okay, he's the best poet in the world, without comparing anybody. People, Biambo guy, Biawa guy. But bear in mind, he hasn't compared himself to nobody else. It's him. Because I always give like my colleagues an example. I'm like, okay, imagine I'm a doctor, right? And I'm supposed to operate on you, right? And I'm like, you're like, oh, hey, doctor, is this going to be successful? I'm like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Would you allow me to touch you?
Actually, in Ghana, they will.
No, but like, to be fair, you won't, because you're scared. Because you're like, maybe you might survive. You will be scared. Your first instinct is like,
no, me, they definitely know.
They definitely know. Yeah. For those, but I see this thing in this country too, where people like accept mediocrity as the standard, because doctors, look, I went to, I don't want to say their name because I think it might be unfair, because it happens everywhere. Yeah. But this is, quote unquote, an American run operation here, right? Bro, my head was splitting. I had never felt any type of pain like that. The entire left side of my jaw to my face was frozen and numb. I even thought it was a stroke or something, because I was like, what this? So they took me to the hospital, and they're putting all kinds of IVs in me. They're running tests. Wait, no, they here. I was there for like 6. I was tired. I think they even did HIV tests and all kinds of foolish things, collecting my money. Then I went to the doctor. I'm like, look, I've been researching the thing that is happening to me is sinus headache or something. And like, are you sure? I'm like, it looks like the symptoms. Then she just sat there, Googled, and like, okay, then go and buy this medicine, I diagnosed myself at this top hospital. So I'm just saying that to say to you that it's a very logical question that you're asking, that if a doctor is hesitant, but in this country, the standards are so low in terms of what the mediocrity level is. This girl was sitting there Googling along with me, and she's like, oh, okay, all right, then wrote the prescription. I should go and buy the medication. She didn't bother to make sure that what I was saying, she just let me go.
Because there's no accountability.
It's not exactly. Yeah.
So the problems are big.
You made mention of video vixens. You have shot so many videos where there were video vixens. What's your take on objectification, like of these women who come, onto the screen to shake their asses and to show, and to do all sort of, nude stuff?
You see, the thing is a really complicated question, and I think it's an individual thing. Some vixens are coming to the set as a business to make income. Some are also coming in as a means of survival or an attempt to
market themselves.
Not necessarily trauma.
Oh.
I feel like, some it's just a way to avoid trauma.
How?
Yeah, because some have had situations where they've been raped, they've been molested by people, and their defense is to be in that situation.
Wow. I've heard that before.
Yeah. Others are coming in because they want to be famous, or they've been made to believe, okay, hey, take your clothes off, and then you would gain a lot of followers. So it comes down to the individual and what their perspectives are, right? For me, I've met a couple women, right, and I've spoken to quite a number of them, and you get to realize that the motivation is usually what you're saying, trying to be famous, but not really wanting to be there. Some want to be there as an art form. Okay, I am a professional vixen, and this is what I do as a job. Some are coming in as, okay, my friends are doing it, so I just want to do it too, but I really don't understand what I'm getting myself involved in. So that's what complicates it.
Have you ever spoken to vixens who were going to come in your video, what they are signing up for?
Not necessarily.
Or do you get to know them?
Fortunately for me, right, I haven't been in that situation where I had to deal with too many of these females, right? I've only done a couple. Maximum, I don't think more than 4 or 5, right? I think yeah. And I'm not responsible for that usually, because usually there's a casting director who handles that. And then they come, they do their thing, and then I'm out, right? And then we give them credit. Yeah. So as to like knowing exactly what their thought process is, I wouldn't know. Yeah, the few that I've spoken to, some come in because they want to be famous.
So why you don't think vixens should be in videos and shaking their
No, I'm just thinking, why are they there? Why do we need vixens? Like, what role do they play? Like, when is it going to stop?
It depends.
Are we going to have vixens through and through? Are men going to be vixens too? Like, is the story or the narrative going to change one day where we would have men
shaking their ass?
I think to answer your question,
yes, I actually shot a video for One Love, a simple video where for a song Too Much. You make my total, they pay me, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of bringing vixens into this video, why don't you play the vixen? So I put One Love in that, puts in that position to be twerking and doing everything and anything that
you see, Ghana,
females
Ghana.
do in
You see,
video.
the thing is, Africa is a really complex place, right? So, and also let's look at Ghanaian music, African music. It's always a dancing club music.
Yeah.
Most songs from Ghana are club bangers, right? And the cliche idea is always to find a female
girls,
to please males, right? Because like I said, the environment we live in.
But that idea is also as old as
it's
the
been
earth
old,
itself.
Yeah, but are you not tired of it?
That women who are always attracted.
To be honest with you, anytime I'm watching a music video and it's packed with women shaking their ass, I don't watch. Like, to be honest with you,
but I think the younger ones are doing well. The younger ones are creating
because
that paradigm.
there's so many stories to tell.
And I mean, I know when it's done overtly, where it's like in your face, like this, all they're trying to show is disgusting, or it's stale, or it's like it's not creative.
And they were mimicking what they saw from the West. From hip hop.
But also, I mean, there's an element of it where, I mean, if you think about our culture, logo, these kind of things, our women dance, shake their ass, do that thing in festivals and all of that. So I think a part of what music videos do is...
But it was a ritual. Though. But that was a ritual.
That's different.
Or festive.
Yes.
Exactly. That's different.
What I'm saying is, don't videos actually reflect reality to a certain extent? Think about the setting. Okay. In what setting have you been in real life where you go there and, excuse my French, but niggas, they shake them ass under any circumstances unless they are whatever. You know what I mean? But in real life, when I go to the club, my job as a dude, if I want to portray a certain or attract a certain thing, is to look like a baller. I'm paying for the bottles. The girls, their job is to shake their ass and get my attention. So certain music videos, I can't even believe I'm defending this nonsense because I hate it probably more than you do. But I'm trying to say that some of it is a reflection of what happens in everyday nightclub lives.
100% true. But where I'm coming from is that I've watched so many of them videos that now I think it has become stale.
Yeah, it's no longer a novelty. Like, I mean, it's even on Instagram, you pop up do not everywhere. Yeah. It's like,
it's lost, you know, it's lost value.
And like I was saying the other time, is it Graham gets ready with me, where women dress up on the camera for Instagram.
Like I've been seeing it.
They start from their drawers. You know, and they dress up, you know, Graham, get ready with me or something.
But I think you also have to consider the generation. You know, you come
shout out to the Gen Zs.
Yeah, I feel like our generation is very different. We grew up with some level of morality, right? This newer generation is more free will.
Bear it all, bear your soul, do what you really like.
So I feel like the context is really different.
I think we're living in I'm not an alarmist, but it's a very different era. Instead of using the word dangerous, I want to call it different. Because something that I spoke to Mutombo briefly, but it's a young lady, I'm not going to say her name, who just passed because she was getting surgery after childbirth. And to my eyes, to the average person that I showed it to, she looked beautiful, gorgeous body. Nothing wrong with her. She's had 3 children, like, for Christ's sake. But the pressure, I can imagine. I've never felt, I've been fat, I've been slim, I've been in between. At no point was it about anybody else, but how I felt about my own self. And the times that I was fat, I went where I'll go anywhere, I'll do anything that I did. And when I lost weight, I didn't rub it in anybody's face. But I feel like this generation, the combination of social media and the attention for everyone to be some sort of celebrity in their own right. When they wake up, they have to find ways to create content, do this, do that. So that may be a driving factor for Gen Zers or whatever to not have boundaries, to not have that idea of, I don't think it's over moralizing the issue when you say, look, keep some clothes on, because there's something to nakedness that drives a certain part of the brain where it's like, okay, I've seen you naked. What more is there to you? Like, I don't, whatever. And the more you show yourself, I'm thinking about it from attention perspective, especially for young women, which has to be sad, because imagine the number of guys who would hit you up on a daily basis. Now, how do you maintain your sanity? There's we're all human, different variety. Ballers, good-looking guys, in-betweens, hitting you up regularly.
The carriers.
Now you become dependent on that kind of thing. So it might be driving some of our people to be doing things beyond what we normally would, like, you know, expect them to do, because it's just, their attention is so heavy and everybody wants to count.
Gen Z, Jay-Z, shouts to Jay-Z. David,
Hove.
David, you are so much into gadgets. You have all of, you know, these cameras, these lenses, you know, and all that. You have all of these tech, you know, stuff that you use for work. Are you threatened by AI?
It depends. It's scary because I feel like it's accelerating too much, too fast.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem here is psychologically you become mind lazy. Because rather than you trying to conceive an idea to bring it to life, it's just a click away. So what happens to the brain? You can't exercise the brain anymore. And then we're going to become a dumber generation. And that's one thing I am scared of. You know, I think I saw this movie. Is it Idiocracy? That's a film.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my fear, because the thing is, if I can have an entire thesis, right, drafted by a click of a button, what happens? What happens to my thinking? It's just going to be an optical illusion. Because you might probably think I'm smart because you read a piece supposedly I have written, but I haven't written that. It was written by a much more intelligent machine. Right? And what happens? So now it'll start to create a problem within the job market, because now we can't differentiate between the real and the fake. So the thing is, it's quite complicated. So we have to find a way to manage it.
Yeah, but we all love tech. tech has been with us.
But it's going too fast.
Yeah, but we moved from shooting film to.
But film is still the best.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, but now we have digital stuff where you can shoot and the next second you are seeing what you shot.
But you've lost the texture there.
But I always say this, like back then, if they had this, what we have now.
Because now most Hollywood films are being printed back on celluloid.
Yeah.
So it's still the same thing.
Okay, cool. So I mean, tech is growing.
Yeah, it's growing.
Tech is growing, and now it happens.
Yeah, it's so accessible.
This is the AI, era.
But I think it has to be managed.
We just go with it. With the flow.
To some extent, you need to manage certain things within that AI community. Because
I think AI is an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
I don't think humankind has encountered anything like
AI.
So people come and say, "Oh yeah, when we're riding around with horses and cars came."
I don't think it's an entirely different thing though. But when the internet came, wow, this is so different.
But let's talk about it. So the internet is a tool. A car was a tool.
AI is
the internet became
what
like
AI
the biggest library.
Is what he's talking about. It's going very fast. Is AI is a machine learning where it's learning to think significantly faster, better at things than humans ever will be able to at a crazy pace. The potential for it is if machine learning gets to a point where it's thinking for itself and making decisions for us, dumb as human beings are, if they look at the environment, if they look at certain things and say, the people for Awudome Estate all be useless people. Let me nuke them.
Me, I think is the same, but they are just they
See, the thing is
to think independent of our prompt, our telling them to do something. If they can do something without needing our permission.
But Fred, people have been able to make bombs to destroy, people.
Yes.
Just by going online and searching how to make a bomb.
Yes. But there's a chain of command that allows that purchase to take place. What I'm saying is that for the nuclear code right now, AI can figure that out
easily.
And that nuclear code is supposed to be known by a few people, including the president of the nations that have the nuclear weapons, right? If AI decides that what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, based on the information that's been fed to it, it takes sides and says, for instance, I think Ukraine should win this war. And I'm going to nuke Russia from using America's nuclear weapon because America is acting as an ally for the Ukraine. And it pushes a button and just sends... Somebody could have told the president, Mr. President, relax. The last time we did Hiroshima, it wasn't good for humankind. But the machine is just going to look like, look, man, just do what you got to do and let's move on. But beyond that, look, what do we really need AI for?
Yeah, that's what I was.
So what do you think?
How are you going to benefit from AI?
Yeah.
See, I am just scared AI might probably gain consciousness. And we're fucked.
I'm alive.
And we're fucked. You see, AI, to me, would be relevant in certain industries, in certain sectors. So let's say the health sector, geological, But then when you look at weaponizing certain things, it becomes a problem. Like you said, the Ukraine-Russian war.
Yeah.
And then what if AI decides to say, okay, the African people now are safe, Charlie, they see them.
They be unproductive for 600 years. They have not done anything.
See what
and look at all the resources they have. They are sitting on it.
Let us do something to them.
Do you get it? So that'd be the scary part. So I feel like yes, to some extent, it has to be controlled. It's necessary, but I feel like, in my opinion, it has to be controlled to some extent.
But for what you do, I know that very soon you're going to use AI.
And
Fred.
But there's also another problem: the job market.
Yeah.
For me, that's a big thing.
And you start to render a lot of people obsolete.
Yeah. Fred sent me a link, an Instagram post somewhere last week about how AI can, you know,
yeah.
But I don't see me using AI for that.
But think about it, machine learning. It can learn how to sequence.
If it's going to get it right.
No, it can learn how to sequence. Yeah. It just takes time. Once it's able to perfect sequencing, we're done.
But, bro, guys, okay, think about it also this way.
You are not going to make money.
No, not necessarily. I feel like only a few might benefit from it.
Yeah, the people who can afford to buy the AI.
afford it. That's it.
But, bro, think about it too. Humankind, actually. With all this, because when he's talked about thesis, and it literally comes up with the thesis in seconds. Yeah. It'll give you the whole thing. Seconds, yeah. What it takes away from you, if you need to come up with a thesis, is the research process, the writing process, the stress, the thinking. All of those human experiences that take you to the level of becoming a professor. It eliminates all that. Like he said, you may not even bother to read the paper now because you're like, AI is not going to get it wrong.
And the mind will be dormant.
Yeah.
And
scientifically.
When we wake up, what are we going to do with our 24 hours? You're just going to create so many idle hands that have nothing to do. We'll start eating each other alive. I think.
It'll become
maybe we're being alarmist, but I just
it'll be the new addiction.
Yeah. I would like to know, because you seem very passionate about what you do, but also the state of affairs in our motherland and Africa as a whole. What is your long game? What do you want your impact to be?
So the long game for me and my team is to be able to build one of the biggest film industries here, you know, where we can also bring in resource from the West, or we can get the West to come here to produce here. And then this can also create opportunities for the younger generation. You know, it can employ new people. It can expand the entire industry. But it can't just be one person. So we need maybe a Mutombo to build maybe sound stages, right? We need you to probably invest into bringing lights. You know, we need executives, you know, who can, see the value of the intellectual property and then raise capital, and then we're building a bankable industry. So in the long term, for me, my contribution would be to be able to facilitate Hollywood level productions here in Africa, rather than us going there for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dope.
So it's to facilitate Hollywood world-class productions in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So
I wish you well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You were behind, is it the 3 music awards last year or last 2 years?
So with 3 music, I started at the inception. So myself and Sadiq.
Shout out to Sadiq.
Yeah, Sadiq.
Baba Sadiq.
Yeah,
Baba, yeah. So Sadiq gave me the opportunity to help him build 3 music awards and 3 music television. So the 3 music television was built by myself and John. We built the entire thing for over 7 years. And then also with Sadiq's team, we all came together as a collective to build the music awards. Yes. Also.
So you are you were a part.
Basically, like I said, Sadiq gave me the opportunity to explore, because Sadiq saw a bunch of young kids who were daring enough to try new things. You know, because in our environment, unfortunately, we don't challenge ourselves much. So Sadiq gave us a challenge, right? Yes, and it's also helped us grow. You know, supported us. So he's been a big support.
Do you think, I don't know if there's going to be the last question, do you think a time will come where cameras on cell phones will be more powerful than DSLRs?
Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there because now there's so much advancement in nanotechnology such that, at some point, because now you have cameras like the cameras on the iPhone 14 now being able to process ProRes RAW. You know, and I feel like that's the step in the right direction.
Do you see yourself shooting a film or a music video with a cell phone?
Yes, 100%.
Because I'm
100%. 100%. So for now, this is what I'm working on now. So the thing is, I'm trying to really explore animation in Africa, because I feel like we don't have too many African characters, and I feel like most of the animators here are still doing the cliche stuff.
There are so many stories that we can
tell.
For our kids.
Absolutely. Motion capture, med reality, augmented reality. I feel like there's an industry we can explore. But the thing is, how do we make it bankable in such a way that you can find investors to believe in that and to be able to generate some income from that idea? So that's what we're working on, and we need more technical knowledge when it comes to some of these things. So I believe that, yes. So for me, like I said, the long term is to be able to build a thriving film industry here in Ghana and in Africa.
Dope, Fred.
Yes, sir. I mean, I think we ran through it all.
It was so smooth.
Yeah, one thing I would hope that in the journey that you get is more support, because more support from our own businessmen, because at the end of the day, foreign investment, Western investment is good, but all that means is that we lose ownership.
Yeah.
Because when they come in, they're going to come in like the sharks and hawks that they are, and rightfully so. I'm not one who believes that the West owes us anything or should do anything to our benefit. They do what they must to survive. We have to be sharp enough to understand the value of what we have so that we are interested in owning it as well. And what that does for us is once we understand that value and they come to the table, then we can negotiate on their level and say, hey, my friend, you need the uranium. We can use it for X, Y, Z. But if you want part of it, you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg because you are shorting us off of it. As opposed to the uranium is there. If they don't buy it, it's going to be stuck in the caves and we're not going to do anything with it. But the moment they take it out and use it, we're crying. They've taken our cocoa. Meanwhile, we make the worst chocolate bars in the world. We have the best cocoa in the world. And they are using it for better products. So I just hope that...
you don't like golden tree chocolate?
The ball pass. It break my Pyrex. I try to make romantic blossom with strawberry. Break the Pyrex for me. Quickly, like it exploded. Next thing I heard, boom. I'm like, damn, what chemicals are in this chocolate? Because I've melted chocolate several times in my life. But anyway, I just hope for you, young people like ourselves, maybe the podcast blows enough, Mutombo will be an investor.
And it shall.
And we just find a way to support each other so we can achieve the dreams that we have together, because there's nothing better than telling our story together as opposed to some
and then also working
Western
as a collective.
Because
I feel like
that's very, very important.
Each individual can bring something unique. They can bring a unique proposition where we can grow together. So I feel like I think that's what we need now. We need the collectiveness. We have to be work together.
Today, Mutombo didn't do anything before the show started, so he was quite...
Ghana, I'm just fed up of the singular mindset. It's too much. So we're not growing, really. And we can only grow if we're coming as a collective.
Dope, Charlie.
Blessings.
David, Charlie, we thank you for coming through, even though...
It's a pleasure.
It was difficult for you to get here.
Oh no, it was worth it. It was worth it.
The rain, the traffic, and other forces, but you still made it. And Charlie,
and it's
amazing. Charlie, amazing conversation.
Yes, sir.
Awesome,
Charlie. We have David Nicol-Sey on the F More Let's Divide podcast.
My pleasure.
That was dope. That was a good one.
Thank you so much.
You don't know what this means to me, and for the podcast. And we thank you for coming through. We know you are...
I'm much humbled.
We know you are working on a million things right now. I wanted to ask you, but I'm like, it will further extend the duration to like...
They should wait on the surprise. Yeah, it's coming.
Charlie, nice, guys. Fred.
See you next week.
Yeah, Charlie, thank you
Peace
for
out.
listening to the podcast.
Share, comment,
comment, leave a review.
Make us the soundtrack to your morning.
Follow us on our socials too, and we are now on YouTube. The full videos are up on YouTube side. So you guys, for support. Let's support our own. You
support your own.
Yeah, you don't have to support. Retweet Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No singular mindset vibes for him.
Retweet us too.
Yeah.
For that, we are out. Peace.
Yes,
Peace.
Yeah.
Smooth cry, Charlie.